welcome everybody. This is our second interview that we're doing with council people. We hope that you loved our first one with Zach Young. And today we are with Emily Benedict from our District 7, which includes part of Madison. I'll let her give you the details on that. But I did want to point out we are back here with Jay Voorhees recording for us. Thank you, Jay. In City Road Chapel. Isn't this so pretty? We love the view. All that aside, let's dig right into it, Emily.
Hi, Laura. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here, and it's nice to actually see you face to face.
Indeed it is. I know. I'm socially distanced, of course, but
yes.
masked as we came in.
Yes.
Great to see you.
Great to see you, too. So why don't you just give them a little reminder about what exactly District 7 is, and then we can jump into all the exciting developments.
Sounds great. Thanks so much. So District 7 starts at Neely's Bend Road. It's on the east side of Gallatin Pike, all the way down into Inglewood and almost East Nashville. So the Madison portion is from Neely's Bend. It covers east due west, East Palestine, Falls Avenue, Montague. It goes down, of course, I've got the cemetery. So a lot of people there that are constituents that don't really talk much.
Exactly. Those are some pretty easy people to please.
That's true. That is true. So that's, so it's the southeastern portion of Madison, and it goes down Neely's Bend over to Idlewild Drive, Neely's Chase area, and then down. So there's quite a few residents. And as we talk about business in a minute, I believe we'll talk about the business corridor here as well.
Absolutely. So just a fun thing to point out, we're sitting right here at one of the corners of your district.
That's exactly right. And I'll tell you, Jay is such a leader in the community and the church. It's so good to have them here. This is the intersection where all three of the Madison districts come together. So District 9 is immediately to the north, District 8 is across Gallatin Pike, and then we are here in District 7.
So if you wanted to risk the traffic, you could potentially stand in the middle and put your two legs in one and an arm in another district, right?
It's that. Good luck. We'll get a twister board out there in the middle of the street, and we'll stop traffic, though.
Please do not play Twister in the middle of Gallatin Road. Do not attempt this at home.
Indeed.
All right, so we'll just jump right into our business developments.
Yeah, so Gallatin Pike is the corridor where we have commercial in this district, and we have the new corridor design overlay. So that's really going to help shape what Gallatin Pike evolves into as there is new development. We do have a number of empty lots right now. I'd love to see some changes there. So it's important that we recruit businesses that have ties to the community and want to make their home here, so that we can serve people in Madison better. And the empty parking lot, or not really parking lot, the empty lot that's just horrible looking at the corner of Emmett and Gallatin Pike. It's been an eyesore for far too long. We've been working since I came into office. I've been working with the water department. We got a stop work order put in place there, and so no work is allowed to be done, and we're working to try to find a buyer for that property so that we can get something really cool in there. Or just something good looking and also valuable to the neighborhood, a retailer perhaps that could provide some value. The old Crystal location, I'd love to have a new Crystal in there, but I don't know that that's in their plans. We have to drive south or north to get that now. But that's another site that I'd love to see developed, so I think it'll really help as Madison across the street. We've got the cool things going with Madison Station. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have similar activities on our side, on the District 7 side.
And anyone who does develop that new lot, or not new lot, but a new development at that lot on Emmett, that would be under the new overlay, correct? So that's only applying to new or remodels. Who is affected by the overlay?
Great question. So it is only new construction. So even if it's a remodel, the guidelines don't have to be followed, but for any new construction, so in that particular case, it's an empty lot. So whatever is built there, the corridor design overlay regulates signage, mm-hmm. regulates building material, and it regulates the placement of the building on the property as well. So where is parking, where's the frontage? Of course, we'll have some wonderful best-in-class sidewalks all the way around that corner when that's done, which that's a big passion of mine, is getting sidewalks in and making our city more walkable. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to adding that in the mix as well up here.
That's very exciting. So we look forward to more updates as potential buyers may come through. Or if anybody's interested in buying it, please do.
Indeed, absolutely. You know, I'd love it to be somebody that lives in the community right here and knows the community and knows their neighbors and can put in a business that really adds some value. So that's one of the things that I like to do in this job, is doing my best to help make those connections so that we all end up being, you know, in feeling like this is our home, because it is our home, and making more and more things very hyper local.
And it's been very exciting to see the changes we have seen in District 7. So I know that just around the corner from me, we had a discount tobacco turn into a Mexican bakery, which if you have not been there, you need to go. And not only is it delicious, the prices are incredible. So right there on the corner of Webster by Windlands. And then I was very excited in the Corsi Center a couple of years ago now. We had My Puppy Parlor move in, which is a locally owned dog grooming place. And they are so nice, and my puppies love going there too. So
ours do too.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah.
We've been noticing a lot more local places moving in, and new and interesting businesses, and can't wait to see more.
Absolutely, and don't forget the Mexican ice cream.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
Like, who could?
Drop
Who
off
could
the
forget
puppy
that?
and grab some ice cream.
That's right. It's a good day. So I know that on my way here, I passed some of the construction for Madison Station Boulevard, which is going to affect both sides here, District 8 and District 7. Yeah. And I did see some trees starting to come down.
That's good, and it's bad. You know, we've lost so much of the tree canopy in Nashville with the storms that we've had throughout 2020 and even into 2021. But there's times that you do need to remove some trees. Of course, the big ones will be put back, especially because Metro is doing this. Not to say that a private company wouldn't, but we know we're going to get the best put back in place. That's taxpayers are paying for it. But there are some big trees. I want to just say, if anybody sees a big tree going down, if it's a hackberry or if it's an ash, those are very good trees for us to take away right now. Hackberries are not native, and they can fall over. Most of the trees that fell over in the storm a couple of weeks ago and right before the flood were hackberries. So they're not good trees for the area, not native. The other thing is ash. There's the emerald ash borer has now made it to Middle Tennessee, and so we're trying to remove as many ash trees as possible, because that insect will spread to other trees, other native trees. So if anybody knows of any ash trees, they can reach out. Actually, our beautification commissioner can help with that as well.
And I know that I was on my way here, left my office, and right when I was passing by, I saw a big tree coming down, and I just told myself, it's a hackberry. It's a hackberry. I just got to remember that's a hackberry. I've had a few of those attack my gutters, so I've got a bit of a beef with the hackberries too.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. You understand then.
Absolutely. So speaking of residential, just wanted to touch base with you about any residential developments that may be going on in 7.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's, you know, most of District 7 through all of the district is residential. So one of the cool things I get about this job is to meet the neighbors and to really walk the neighborhoods and knock on people's doors and say hi and be present with them and understand what their concerns are. And so in the neighborhoods right now, we're focused on traffic calming. District 7 has more traffic calming requests than any other of the 35 districts in the county. There's, you know, we're as we've grown, as we've become more urban, people want to be able to walk. People want to, you know, be less reliant on a car. So one of the things that I did almost immediately after taking office was chair a committee, a special committee that looked at sidewalks, how we build them, how much they cost. And so that's been a passion of mine. I've tried to get those in our community. We just haven't had the money. We have a huge capital spending plan that we'll be working on in the upcoming budget season over the next 2 months. And that will include a significant investment in things like sidewalks and traffic calming. People say, I want a 3-way stop or I want speed humps. And it's not as simple as just dropping those and putting them in place because of maintenance. And sometimes our traffic engineers have better solutions. And so I engage them and we try to find the best solution and put it in place that makes sense. So it slows people down, but it also isn't a nuisance or becomes something that people just find their way around. So want to make sure, again, that we're slowing people down, enjoying our neighborhoods, walking our dogs. You and I both walk our dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And that could be an interesting point for a lot of people who aren't as familiar with how these things happen. So I know that we've heard a lot of talk about sidewalks and about how people want more sidewalks in their neighborhood. Why don't you give a very brief explanation of what kind of extensive process putting in a sidewalk is that people may not realize?
Yeah, so, and my thought was, why can't we just drop down a piece of concrete and at least it's something? Well, one big reason just out of the gate is ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. We have to make sure that that we're compliant so that anybody in a wheelchair or anybody can access the sidewalk. So there's that. The other thing is best-in-class sidewalks are with a 5-foot grass strip, so a buffer from the main road, and then a 5-foot wide sidewalk, and then the rest of the building or whatever, the grass or whatever there is there. But that buffer is so important from a pedestrian safety perspective. We've had more pedestrian deaths 2 years in a row than any time in our history. So we've really got to do what we can to keep people safely on our sidewalks. So back to your question, I know I get a little bit sidebarred. But
Sidebarred on the sidewalks?
Sidebarred on the sidewalks, exactly. On the sidewalks that might lead to D's.
There
right?
you go.
For a sidebar.
Yes, please.
So, we've got engineers that need to be involved, and one of the longest processes is gaining right-of-way. So even though it's in the city's right-of-way or the city's easement, the city won't be able to take some of your front lawn to put in that grass buffer strip and to put in that sidewalk if we don't pay you for that easement. And so even afterwards, though it's yours to maintain, that is something the city has to go and acquire from every single neighbor on the street. And if we have one neighbor that's a holdout, then that slows down the entire build process. That's really the part that takes 12 to 18 months. Once we have that, we can put the sidewalks down in about 6 months, 9 months.
And that seems like it'd be a huge chunk of the sidewalk budget too, is just having to pay for those easements.
Yeah.
And oh boy, imagine getting down to the last person and they say no.
Oh, I know. And it's, and so that's problematic. And of course, we all want to work with our neighbors and know our neighbors and be friendly with our neighbors and help them understand the benefits. Even though, I don't have kids that go to metro schools. I don't have children. However, metro schools and our kids in the city getting a good education is important to me. So I think it's making sure that people understand the community benefit, even though they might not want it in their yard. There is significant community benefit to putting sidewalks in place.
Absolutely.
Quality of life, too,
Yeah, and we look forward as Nashville grows and grows to making our communities, our individual communities, even more walkable and accessible. So I know it's a work in progress, but hopefully one day we'll get there.
One day, we've just grown so quickly over the past 10 years, and the infrastructure has not kept up with it. And that's not a Nashville problem. That's not a Tennessee problem. It's a national issue that we just haven't made investments in our infrastructure. So I look forward to getting our financial picture back in order, which we're on our way now, and we should be able to start making these investments to get us where all of us want to be.
Absolutely. And I know just from, again, my neighborhood perspective, because I'm in your district, every time I look around, there's something different, something changing. And, one of the first things that I noticed changing was all of our apartment complexes around us have been purchased and renovated, and just all the small improvements. I think people are really going to kind of look up one day and realize, oh my goodness, so much has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's more coming too.
Oh, a little teaser. Well, we look forward to more updates on that.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
All right, moving right along.
Yeah.
So I know that you and I had the pleasure of sitting down with a neighborhood association president recently and talking about issues, and just wanted to take a minute to talk about your experience working with neighborhood associations and how important that can be in shaping your neighborhood.
Absolutely. And that is something that I've found is really the best way to help neighbors understand what the city's doing and also what the neighborhood wants to accomplish together. So there's some pretty active neighborhood organizations in District 7. There's some in District 8 as well. I think with Madison as a whole, I'd love to see some steam behind getting a larger group together or multiple neighborhood groups together. So when you introduced me the other day to your neighbor, who's the new president of that neighborhood association, that got me excited because we need leaders like that in the community. There's only so many places that I can be, and I don't live on your street, so I'm not
You
there.
don't?
Can I move in?
Well, we'll see. It's a pretty tough neighborhood to get into, but
That's what I've heard.
Hey, I'll slip you a little note if if I hear about something.
We get that speed hump in.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
So, well, I lost track, which is too bad that this just keeps going.
That's how conversations with me go sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah, but we were talking about meeting with Katie, our
neighborhood.
new president of our neighborhood association.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, so those neighborhood association and those leaders in the community are really who do the heavy lifting, whether it's a Gibson Creek cleanup, whether it's, let's have a bake sale and raise some money, or let's have a block party and make sure that we all know each other, and especially now with COVID. Everybody's been at home, so it's more of an opportunity to congregate in the community safely and masked and distanced, but getting to know each other and understanding what those collective needs are, so that then those can be shared with me and I can have a much broader impact than just a piecemeal by piecemeal, parcel by parcel. So I've found a lot of value in those neighborhood associations. Some are so organized they have golf tournaments.
Oh, wow.
So they give away scholarships. So, and that's much like what you do. And so, well, it's very much like what you do. So you're like a big neighborhood association.
That is kind of, we're the big neighborhood association of businesses.
That's right. And you're huge, you know, and you're continuing to grow, which is awesome. And that's something I think also getting this message out here from us council members is, I think, just an awesome service that you're providing, so that people understand more of the things that are available to them, and also that I want to hear from people.
Yeah.
I want to seem approachable. I hope that people know that they can reach me anytime, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, and I know that Katie was so excited to meet you, and afterwards she was like, "Oh, that was so easy." And I think sometimes people can have this idea that, oh, well, they work for the city. It might be intimidating, or it might be, oh, I don't know if I can approach them. But I think you've done a great job at maintaining, being very approachable, as thankfully all of our leaders in Madison have, and it was a pleasure. But I also want to point out, as helpful as they are to you, it's also just fun for the neighborhood too. I know that a lot of people over probably the past couple of decades have said, oh, we're losing our feel of community. We don't know our neighbors. We don't have that feeling of, having those block parties. And a neighborhood association is a great way to bring that sense of community back to your neighborhood, and you can then plan small events together. And I know our neighborhood has a progressive dinner around the holidays, so we get to, I love going in and just seeing the inside of people's houses. Personally, growing up with a contractor for a father, I just get very interested in that. But we get to meet our neighbors that way. And when you know your neighbors, just like in a chamber or anywhere else, when you get to know people, they're more approachable. You're more likely to be able to sit down and talk about any issues and work together to make things better.
Yeah.
And one fun thing during the pandemic in my neighborhood is we have a lot of musicians who weren't touring. So there's a lot of free music outside in my neighborhood right now. That's pretty great.
That's awesome. And that is one of the, and I've seen that all over the district, where people just have found ways to connect in ways they hadn't before. And they say, I miss playing my guitar for an audience. Let's get out here and do that. I love that they're doing that in Montague. That's
yes,
awesome.
Absolutely. And I know that today is a very interesting day for us to be having this interview and talking about neighborhood associations for you.
It is, because we're actually here on April the 13th, which is the second Tuesday of the month, and that is when I have my monthly District 7 call. It's currently a Zoom call. It may remain a Zoom call, we'll see, but I hope at some point we'll be able to move to an in-person format. But tonight, one of the guests is Jim Hawk from Neighbor to Neighbor. He's going to talk about what's your neighborhood passion. So, you know, talk about getting involved. What is the passion that we have for our neighborhood, and how can we come together? Do others have that same passion? So I'm excited to have Jim on the call tonight. We've also got Lisa McCready from the Metro Action Commission. She's going to be talking about rent relief programs and landlord relief programs as well, because even when a tenant can't pay, the landlord can't pay, and so, you know, both are getting squeezed at this time where things just continue to be financially insecure in a lot of ways. So that's a great program Metro provides.
And District 7 has quite a few people who rent, right? That's
right, yeah. In fact, the Madison portion of District 7 has 14% higher tenancy rate than the rest of the city.
Oh, wow.
So in other words, 14% fewer homeowners in Southeast Madison than in other areas of the city.
So you definitely have a larger part of your district that would definitely benefit potentially from the Metro Action Commission's rent relief.
That's exactly right, exactly. And then for the homeowners, 2 months ago, we did the property reassessment and tax relief and tax freeze programs. So, you know, getting the trustee on the phone and on a webcast to let the community know what resources are available to them. A lot of people just don't know all the programs and all the things that their government is doing for them. It's my job to help get that information out there, and this monthly call has been a really successful way. I've begun to record the calls and put them on my Facebook page, so if anybody has missed one and wants to hear about it, they're able to go back and see it.
And how do they find your Facebook page? What is it called?
Facebook.com/Emily47, Emily FOR and the number 7.
I was about to say, good to know whether it's the 4 or the FOR.
And the 7 or the 7.
Yeah, exactly.
We looked at Emily and the number 4 and the number 7, and I thought that's not very clear.
Right, it might read Emily 47.
Which now somebody knows the exact age that I am.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that could have been good, actually.
That might have been a good one.
Well, it would have been outdated next year, so
That's
good
true.
You went with the FOR. So is there any other resources you would like to share with I know we have business members that are watching, but a lot of our business members live in the area too. And I know you have a lot of helpful resources, especially not just for the pandemic, but in general for our neighborhoods that I'm sure would be great to share.
Well, you're a big resource for the
thank you.
neighborhood, for the business community, and for the residential community. Having organizations like yours is really important to the success of the city.
Well, thank you so much. Your check is in the mail.
All right. Yes. There's other tools though that the city's coming out with all the time. We have one of the worst recycling rates in the country right now, and so we need to let people know how they can recycle, what they can recycle. So Metro Public Works just came out with an app, and they've also got a program called Get Rowdy and Recycle.
Oh.
So, you know, a lot of people don't understand. I actually took a picture of my trash bin and my recycle bin yesterday to send off for an education program. And, you know, there's times that I might do things wrong too. So there's on this app, you can take a quiz, you can find out when your trash pickup is, you can put in a complaint if you have one. But it's a great tool, and so I would just say watch out for my newsletter. I try to put those types of announcements in my monthly newsletter. I also have a mid-month minute that I send out, so I try to catch you twice on some different things. But you can sign up for that newsletter at www.emily47.com. So Emily FOR 7, the number 7.
Well, I know that Recycling Day, I have warned people up by saying this Recycling Day is my favorite day of the month.
Nice.
Because my recycling bin gets quite full, and I get very excited to see it all go away.
Absolutely, and you can have, I believe, up to 4. We have 3 at our house, and we consistently fill up 2. The other thing is that if we can get this contamination rate down, if we get better at recycling, then the city will be able to be in a financial position because it's cheaper when we get recycling right. We will probably be able to move to every other week recycling.
That'd be amazing.
We can't do that without all of us making a contribution of making sure we recycle right.
Please get a recycling bin if you don't have one, because I need every other week recycling.
You are not alone. You are not alone.
All right, and I know that another great resource we wanted to highlight is Hub Nashville.
Yeah.
Can't plug that enough.
We cannot plug that enough. Hub Nashville is when you can't reach me, go to Hub Nashville. Whether you want to reach me or not, go to Hub Nashville. It's hub.nashville.gov, or in the app or the Google Play Store, it's Hub Nashville. And on there you can do everything from, you know, Public Works, you're amazing and you're awesome and I want to give you, you know, props, or, which nobody does that, right? Let's be honest. You can say, you know, my recycling wasn't picked up today, or my trash wasn't picked up today, or there's a pothole on this road. We're in pothole season still right now. We're almost done. We fill around, I think it's like at least 1,500 or so a week. But
oh, wow.
we can't get everywhere, and of course we're not responsible for the interstates. But
yeah, there was one on Ellington that I hit a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty sure my soul left my body when I hit it, and I yelled out loud. So I'm looking forward to that one being gone too.
I'm sure it was a G-rated yell, right?
It was just more of an ha! It was just a shock.
Yeah.
Not an R-rated yell. I would never say any 4-letter word.
No.
Nope.
Good.
I should have said nope.
Nope.
I wouldn't say a 4-letter word like nope.
Or good. That's good.
Very good.
Yeah, so Hub Nashville, you can turn in a codes complaint. You can just ask general questions. You can upload pictures. You can submit things anonymously. So if I want to drive by your house and say, man, you're cutting down that oak tree when you thought it was an ash tree.
No.
I can say, hey, should she be cutting down this tree? Is that okay? Now, that's not really what Hub Nashville is used for. You certainly can do that. But if you feel like it's a codes complaint or something and you want to turn it in anonymously, you can do that.
You're giving me ideas, Emily. I'm going to be turning people in for cutting down trees.
Well, we need more trees, so we don't want to cut any more down.
Yes, we do. And also, please, no Bradford pears.
No Bradford pears, no hackberries.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Well, I had a thought that went right away. Well, Root Nashville is phenomenal. Yes, Root Nashville. There's just so many great organizations out there, too, but Root Nashville. You know, yesterday at Music City Roots, they had a little lunch giveaway. Little known fact, they did Coney dogs.
Oh, my goodness.
Coney dogs. I've been in Nashville since 1998, and I've been in Madison and Inglewood area since 1999, but I'm originally from Jackson, Michigan, which is the original place that a Coney hot dog was created by Todorofs in 1914, and Music City Roots is going to have a Coney dog on their menu.
Oh,
so
that's so
I
exciting.
will be eating some Michigan dogs, they're going to call them, and they come, it's a hot dog, all beef hot dog with chili on it, and the chili only is ground beef in a chili sauce, and then onions and mustard on a bun, of course.
I'm going to have to try one.
It's worth it.
Worthy. And just in case anyone hasn't visited Hub Nashville for some reason, it is HUB. Just want to make sure we're being real clear. Hub Nashville.
The southern accent that I've gotten since 1998, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell sometimes no matter what accent you have. That's one of those toughies, so just want to make sure we were clear.
For sure.
All right, is there anything else you want to leave us with before we start wrapping up?
You know, I just appreciate everybody's support, and I also want to make sure, again, that they know I'm here to serve. You guys elected me, whether you voted for me or not. You are the people who I serve, and I want to make sure that I'm serving everyone as well as you'd like me to, and hopefully even better. So people can reach out to me anytime. I hope that they do. I sure enjoy meeting people through your organization. I can't wait till we get back to our monthly luncheons.
Oh, me too.
And some of our networking events. So
I miss seeing everybody.
Me too. But this is a great way, though, to get to see you for the first time. Second time in months.
I know. I haven't seen you in, more than a year. And then I get to see you twice in a week. You
haven't even mentioned my wrinkles got worse in the past year.
Because they haven't, obviously. But I do want to ask one more question, and this was just a fun one. I asked Zach, and I thought it was just a fun way to wrap up. Call it a rose and a thorn. So a rose for your time during the pandemic, and a thorn.
Wow, those are the rose, I think, it goes back to that seeing the community come together. I have been so impressed and humbled going back to a year ago. Right now on my Facebook page, the memories from a year ago are coming up, and thinking about how the community banded together, and we did the howl. I don't know if anybody remembers the 8 o'clock howl, and we maybe need to bring that back. I think that should be a permanent thing. But you know, we just all found ways to connect at a time that it was really scary for us. So I think that's really the rose. Is the thorn, you know, working on council, one of the real challenges we've had is not being able to meet in person. These webcasts, you know, these Zoom meetings to try to legislate and run the business of the city has been really difficult. And, you know, this particular body had only spent about 7 months together face to face before the pandemic. So we really haven't built a rapport in a good way that will help us be really effective, work together to move the city forward. So that's a bit of a thorn, and I can't wait till we can safely get back to meet in person.
Absolutely, and that's a big mission and attitude that we have in our chamber, is about that relationship building and getting to know one another, which means spending time together at meetings and in person and getting to know one another beyond just what our business does. And so we've definitely been looking forward to the day when we can get back to our lunches and our networking and get to see everyone again, because it goes beyond business at that point. Those are your friends.
That's
and
right.
You want to know how they are, and you miss them. And, you know, that kind of relationship is what builds lasting business partnerships too.
You're exactly right.
We're looking forward to it, just like you.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to see you and to get to chat, and hopefully we'll get over to Sidekicks again soon out on the porch and maybe meet some more people from the neighborhood.
Sounds like a winner.
All right. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks, Laura.
And also thank you again, Jay, for videoing us. And he is going to be doing an amazing job editing. And again, for this beautiful sanctuary that we get to record in here at City Road right on Neely's Bend. Have a great day.